What's up, everybody? And real
Here
quick,
comes Cryptoholics. We got Bigfoot in the woods. We got aliens in the sky. We got ghosts in the attics. Here comes Cryptoholics.
The dog.
all right. We always watch. I've seen Timmy laugh.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's not like seeing it in person though.
no.
So
All right.
yeah.
So I don't know. Should we bring these ladies on? Because I've been wanting to talk to Elise for a while about this.
We have been trying to do this now for like 94 months or something like that.
No, I was gonna say 3 weeks, but Brian.
Oh, okay. I was trying to
Brian blew it out of proportion.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
it seems
big
like
time.
forever, like 3 or 4 years. It feels like so.
And Elise also invited another young lady. Her name is Britta, and I believe they've been checking out her property. And
Okay.
there's activity going on there.
So you're really
also
building suspense right now. I like this.
I am, man, and I'm not even showing them yet.
I'm scooting up on the edge of my seat.
Oh
right
my
now.
god!
I'm
Whatever,
like,
man, you saw
I'm
him
like
backstage,
this.
dude.
Huh? Backstage?
Backstage.
I'm enjoying this.
All right, so let's bring them on, man. You want to bring them on?
Bring them on.
All right. Okay, Elise and Britta, welcome to the Cryptoholics Show.
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hello, guys. How are y'all?
She's very happy to be here. Are you happy to be here, Elise?
I'm very happy to be here. Britta is too, I can tell.
I'm here. I'm happy.
All right. Oh, she's happy too.
Hello to all the cryptoholics out there, and Happy New Year to you, all of y'all.
Oh, thank you.
New Year to you guys too. So.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Thanks. It's going to be a great year.
Yeah.
Great fun year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to get some good evidence out there this year. I can feel it.
I can feel it already. They're out there.
They're out there.
You really can feel it, Britta, probably.
Yeah.
Legitly.
Right out your window?
Yeah, right out that window.
So do you have any close neighbors, or how's that working?
No, like we actually, the main part of the farm is 535 acres, and then we have an additional like that way right out this window is another 200 and something.
Wow.
And then it's totals about 800, I think.
Dang.
So
it's huge. It is.
You don't
huge.
really. I mean, I don't really see anybody.
They have no neighbors.
Not really. No.
What do you have on the farm? Is this cattle, or are we doing?
So we raise registered Angus and Arabian show horses and axis deer and whitetails, and that's about it. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you guys were just, like.
It's the most beautiful property, and I think Britta, y'all have won nationals 2 years in a row, haven't y'all, with your horses?
I went to national championships this year and last year, and then we had a couple cows win at national levels. So, yeah, fuzzy,
right?
Blow dry the cows, make them all fluffy.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Yeah.
Do
and
they
then
look
she's
as good
got
as
other
Brian's
stuff.
Beard? Do they look as good as Brian's beard right now? Because that's looking pretty good to Brian.
I like the beard, Brian. I'm liking it.
I trimmed it way down. It was getting a little wild. Of course, it's not like it was several years ago when it was.
I like it.
Oh yeah, he was like a yeah.
But it was red then too. And then, of course,
I don't like it when they get that long. I like it neat and short, but that looks good on you. I don't think Britta's bearded people look probably that neat. I don't know. I haven't seen one yet, but
yeah, like I don't even know where to begin with you two guys, really, because she's got her property and Elise has this splayed toe footprint that you know what I mean?
Let's talk about Britta's property first, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm so excited about this. And every day almost is like something new on her property. Yeah. And I'm just gonna let her tell the story, and let's see what you guys think about it. All right. So go ahead.
Okay, I'll kind of start with a little preface of this whole thing. So during Hurricane Laura, our house got all smashed up, and so we were spending time on some family land in Alabama, which has been in my husband's family since 1828. So we were over there, and we'd go ride our horses and stuff like that. But I started to notice strange things there. And then I did see something there and hear things there. And I actually hadn't, I mean, my amount of time spent paying any attention to Bigfoot, Sasquatch, anything was maybe like 30 seconds in my life. And it actually was my mom and I in Minnesota, where I grew up. We saw something run across the road when this was probably like 1990, 89 or 90. And I was like, what was that? And my mom goes, oh, Sasquatch, ha, and that was probably like, that was it. Hadn't paid a lick of attention to it since then. But after it got on my radar, I kind of thought back on so many things where I was like, oh my gosh, maybe that was that. Maybe this was that. And things were happening in Alabama. So, weird sounds, this bogus owl sound, the orb thing, which my husband started reciting scripture when we saw it. So because we didn't know what we were looking at, but we still don't know really what we were looking at. But long story short, we ended up, we're selling that property, but and have it on the market. But it's kind of one of those like special things that's going to take a long time. So meanwhile, we bought this place because it's closer to all our kids and family and stuff. So when I got here, we probably been here, I think, we closed on this property end of July. So probably the first couple weeks we were here, I just kind of started getting that same feeling I'd get in Alabama. And I was like, oh, crap. I think this is going to happen here now, too. And it started with this woods, kind of a pine plantation area, which I think is probably like maybe 30 acres, and it's fenced in. And there's no sound in there. Yeah. Can't explain it. Zero sound. And I just kind of mentioned it. I was like, oh my gosh, there's no sound in there. And one of the guys that's worked here on and off, I think for like 35, 40 years maybe, he said to me, he goes, oh, you noticed that? I need to call so-and-so. And he was like, they had noticed it too. And they have like a name for it. I can't remember. It's like, well, I call it the creepy forest, but they call it like something like, I don't know, Sherwood forest or something goofy or dead forest. I don't know, something strange. But that was kind of probably the first experience. And then I started hearing my name being called from the woods when I was here by myself. And or like on the property. I've never, like, up until yesterday, I was never really alone with nobody here. There's always somebody working. But if I was like on, let's say, the back couple hundred acres, I'd hear my name and nobody around. And then, I guess after that, and this is how I met Elise and the Bigfoot female friends, was I had posted that our Mustang, her mane was braided. And humans can't really touch this horse. Like, I can maybe touch her face, but she would have like totally, really long mane, no tangles in it, nothing. You go feed her in the morning and she'd have braids. And it's always like one braid, another braid, and then intersects down into a single braid. And it's just way more workmanship than like any wind would do. And there wasn't any wind. And when these guys came to stay, I introduced them to Alice the Mustang. And in the morning, after seeing her, mane with nothing in it, her mane was braided. So
it was.
I can't really explain that. I'm trying to think of other things. Oh, I was out, it would be, let's see, that direction, which is south of me right now. And I was kind of covering an area that's going to be thinned out, but there's some trails and stuff for hunting and little clearings for hunting. And we all explored back there. But I was back there one day and I got buzzed probably 20 feet above my head, unmarked black helicopter that stayed over our property for about 3 hours.
Right.
And it just, well then, and they did it again the next day for probably another 3 or 4 hours. And
that's
they have like
ongoing, I think.
And it looks like it's got a thermal camera or some kind of thing on it, but there's no tail numbers. There's nothing. Cause I was going to try to call and just say, hey, do you mind not cause my animals were getting kind of irritated by the whole thing. It was scaring me kind of too. Cause it was in a side by side and here comes right over the top of my head.
Whoa.
This helicopter.
It's crazy.
I mean, I could have hit it with a rock.
Right.
So
now, is there a base near you?
I don't know if there's a base near me.
Without giving the name of it, I don't want you to.
Probably the closest one would be in Louisiana to here.
Yes, I agree, Britta. The closest one would be in Louisiana.
Yeah.
It's not that close.
Yeah.
It's not.
That'd be the closest one.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
I don't know.
Wow.
Can I just interject right here about the mane, because I know we've all heard about the witch's braids, and we all know that horses, when they're running and they can get their manes can get tangled and it looks like a braid. But Britta, being the equestrian that she is, and knows these horses so well, so very well, she knows the difference between a braid, someone that's used thumbs to braid it, or just knots. So having, known that about her, we did see it with our own eyes, that this mane was braided. And it was so weird because wasn't like just knotted up. Like they took a piece of hair from way over here and another piece from way over here and brought them together and braided them. That just doesn't happen. And we saw it the night before, and the horse his mane was not braided. Next morning, the first thing we did was go look, and it was.
Yeah, and it'd be one thing if this was like one of my show horses or horses that's handled every day, and I would be like, oh, some kids went in there and braid. I mean, and even out here though, okay, number one, you wouldn't come out here unless you knew the property, but because God only knows what you'd run into. I mean, if I wouldn't just go wandering around, but this horse is wild. It came off it's a BLM. It's hadn't been off this place in 22 years, and it's like 23 years old, and it's wild. I mean, I can't put a halter on it, nothing. I just kind of shush it from one field to another. So the fact that it's handled, it also had, at least do you remember, it had Alice had those it was almost like lines on her back, like finger lines.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like they went through the fur and kind of unkept it in a lined type of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was also strange. So,
yes.
Yeah. And then Elise can tell you a little bit more about the adventure when we were here. Yeah.
It's a beautiful property, and there's so much of it. So we explored quite a bit. Britta was kind enough to loan us her 4x4, and we had some 4-wheelers, and so we kind of all went out together at times and exploring the property. It's absolutely gorgeous. So much of it. There's, I don't know, how many stock ponds do y'all have, Britta?
14.
Oh,
I mean, if I was a Bigfoot, wouldn't I want to live there?
Yeah.
And
there's snacks everywhere.
Yeah, there are snacks everywhere. I mean, I feel like I know they're there from what we heard, and I feel like they've been there for a very long time. The last night that we were there, kind of got ourselves in a little predicament, which is just absolutely elementary. We know better. I think just with the excitement of the time being where we were and knowing they were there, because we had already heard the whoops and the whistles in the distance on the property. So we knew they were there. They just didn't seem so close up to us, but we knew they were there from just listening to those whoops and whistles, right? So that night we all got in the 4x4 and we headed out to the property, just going to ride around, you know, it's night before we leave, just gonna one last time. And Britta was driving, because of course she knows her property better than anyone else. So we're going down these roads, and we just made a mistake. The road kind of ended, and there was nowhere to go. And forest so thick, the woods so thick on both sides. I mean, you can't turn around there, right? So we stopped, and we didn't even think about it. We turned the lights out. We went black, and everybody got their little toys out, and we were looking with their night visions and all that. And Britta had the thermal, and she was looking out, I think, to her left, kind of up on a little hill there. And Britta says, well, Britta can tell you what she saw on the thermal. And I think we do have that on video. It was, I don't know if it was conclusive or not, but
no, it's kind of, it was strange because what I could see was it looked like kind of like in the heat. Okay, so the thermal is like one of the a monocular, I think 18, pretty high powered thermal. And I saw, and I had on the red hot. So I see like this blob, like the head, and then like the shoulders kind of, and there's a hill there. And so it was almost like it was partially behind it. So I'm thinking, oh crap, that looks like something standing up right there. Well, then it kind of eases behind the trees, and then it goes down and starts running, but on all fours.
Oh, wow.
And so I couldn't tell. I mean, I can't determine totally if that was, but okay, so I sort of thought that looked like a pig, but it still doesn't explain what the thing standing up just before that was, because I don't think
the things, right. The thing standing up had a different signature than that other one also. Yeah. But I'll tell y'all what it looked like. It looked to me like this giant torso, this really big torso with a little head on top. That's what it looked like.
And the head was kind of like egg shaped.
It was. And I think you had said maybe if you and your husband got enough time, y'all would go out there and try and measure the distance.
I was going to stick my husband
on
that same spot because he's like over 6 feet tall, and so I figured because it'd be pointless to stick me there. I mean, I'm like 5 feet tall, so it'd be like this would make more sense. Yeah, like, but so anyways, we're all in the side by side, and I see this. I passed it off to another member of our group. She is trying to see. She sees a little something, but is more like it scares her because something hit the side of her leg, and so then we're kind of we haven't made a full loop in that. Right. That's really a bad plan. But I mean, it's a trail, but we haven't made a full loop. So literally it's 5 miles back there and 5 miles back on this piece. So we're way out there. And then we turn around and I'm like having to do like turn, like how 10-point turn to get out going the other direction.
I mean, we were stuck.
Profanity. I mean, it's like total chaos.
We knew better than to get ourselves in a situation like that, but we just got caught up in the moment because Britta had to do some serious maneuvering to get us out of there.
And
the
it was
like being so thick.
And there's no power steering in that, and it's a big, Polaris for. I mean, and I'm trying to get the thing going, and we're all like freaking out, but we got out of there, and and then those guys went back, and I went back to the main house, and they stayed at the guest house. But then their night continued.
Oh gosh, boy did it! Boy did it ever continue. So we're sitting outside, we're talking about what had happened. It's high energy, and we're just discussing, we knew better to get ourselves in a predicament like that, but we just got caught up in the excitement of it. We're having this conversation. It's about, 4 or 5 of us sitting around the table talking about this, what had happened. And some of us stayed in the guest house that Britta was kind enough to let us use while we were there. And then some of us slept outside in our tents up against the forest, the woods. You know, we wanted to be as close back there as we could get to it. So we butted up against the woods. 3 of us were in tents. And then some of them were stayed up at the guest house. But we could, how far would you think it would be, Britta, from the guest house to the tents where we were set up? How far was that, you think?
Probably about 600 yards.
Okay.
400,
that's about
600.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
600,
about right.
I think.
So we could see
the wedged back in that corner pretty far.
Yeah, we were. And we could see the house and we could see the tents from where we were at. But, you know, every time we got ready to go out there, we drove it, you know. So we're all up there, you know, at the camp house, and we're just sitting around the table talking about what had happened and everything. And suddenly we hear, I don't know how else to describe it. I know this sounds cliche, and I know what they say about East Texas, but it sounded just like a dinosaur is all that I can say. Sorry, that's what it sounded like. I don't know of anything else, guys, that has this lung capacity and with such a force, and it was so loud, and it went on for so long. It went on long enough where all of us ladies were sitting around. We were all like looking at each other. It was continuous going. There was no break in it. Looking at each other going, you know, and it's just, it's more or less, it felt aggressive. It felt like it was really screaming at us is what it felt like. So it was just so shocking, you know, because it was right there by our tents, you know, and it came up so close. We knew it was right there in the corner, you know, by our tents. And it was just that close. But I have listened. Of course, we're idiots and we just got back and didn't have our audio, you know, out yet or anything. Hadn't thought about that yet. You know, we were still just talking. And so we didn't catch the audio on it. So when that happened, you know, some of us said, well, I'm just going to go inside and it's time to go to bed now. You know? And a few of us were still sitting outside thinking, are we going to go back out there and sleep or not? Because that thing sounded mad, you know. And we're still just, and about that time, we hear another yell the opposite direction, but it wasn't near as long, loud, but it was nothing that I would recognize for sure. Since we've gotten back from that, I have looked at and listened to audio. I've listened to bears, lions, mountain lions, bobcats, wolves. I've listened to every animal that is over there in East Texas, trying to say, well, maybe it could have been that. You know, it could have been that. But when I tell you we all agree, the only thing it really sounds like is like what you would think a dinosaur sounded like.
Something prehistoric.
That's crazy.
Something, and it was just so loud. And
did you guys feel it? Did you feel it in your chest? Or
we didn't. I did not. I didn't. I don't know why. I don't know if any of the other girls did. I don't think they did. They never anybody said it. But it was, we felt it everywhere. We felt like this thing is pissed at us and it is angry. And I guess we had tormented it enough, you know, the last couple of days that we were there, you know.
Like, I'm just trying to go braid some horse's hair.
I know.
And here y'all are, you know. So it let us know that it was not happy with us. And that is the one thing that we all agreed on, that's what it sounded like. Because we've heard stuff. We've heard these things before. You know, we've heard the whoops and we've heard the whistles and we've heard the howls, you know. But we have never had nothing come up that close and scream at us like that thing did.
I'm completely jealous right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was something else. Since then, since our camp out and on Britta's property, activity has continued. And Britta, you can tell them what's the latest going on up there.
Quick question.
Sure.
Quick? So when did you guys go camping? Was it like in the fall or?
Yeah, it was.
It was just recently.
It was the end of October, wasn't it?
End of October?
Yes, it was before Thanksgiving because we were wishing everyone Thanksgiving. So it was before Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was right before. Yeah.
And
right
Britta,
before Thanksgiving,
how long have you
like
guys
the
lived in the
16th.
How long have we
three nights, something like that. 3 nights, I think, and
July.
July. They've been on the property since July.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did y'all ever talk to the previous owners, or did y'all have that place
Okay,
built?
so I haven't talked to the previous owner about it because they kind of had this was they lived they had kind of this as a second home sort of thing with family members, and it was kind of like a lack of a better like Kenny Bunkport, like the Kennedy compound or something. Like we'll throw this part of the family over in this house and this part of it over here, and
The
we'll
mother-in-law
be in this
suite
house.
is way over there. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It really is like that. So
I'll stay in that Kenny Bunkport anytime.
yeah.
I got a weird question for you, Britta. And Shane's probably don't know where I'm going with this, but and this is just for my own personal knowledge. So, given the fact that you had saw something when you were a kid in Minnesota, and then Alabama, and where you are, and you talk about orbs, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but have you ever seen a ghost?
Yeah, and I was gonna get to that because they're here too,
That's not
and
because a lot of your stuff, like, and this is true for me. Like, we talk about Bigfoot all the time, and like Bigfoot for me is I could probably put Bigfoot second to other things that go on in my life throughout my life.
yeah.
And I think certain people have that certain ability to have this interaction. And I know I'm going to sound like I'm all woo and I'm getting all
No,
weird, but
no,
I
it's
was curious when you were telling this story and talking about things. I was like, I bet you she has seen some stuff before too.
yeah. So I actually okay. So this is I'll try to stick with this property in general. It's really hard not to because after I realized that, I mean, I'll just say it this way. After I realized that Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call him, Yeti, whoever, that it is a real thing. After I saw what I saw, and I mean, there's no other explanation for it. I mean, unless there's some really massive homeless guy living on our property in Alabama or something. I don't know, but it just there's some creature or whatever. But no, here regarding this property and historically in my life, yes, I've seen some other things, and my first encounter with anything really strange was as a little kid in Minnesota, and my mom just said I ran through the house and jumped in her bed, and she looked up and I guess the property we were on formerly had Native American inhabitants there, and she said there were two dressed in Native American attire just standing in the doorway after my brother and I ran in the room. And so, but it's that same exact feeling that I get when, and I hadn't felt that for a long time. And so, yeah. And then here, okay. So to keep it with this property, I'm trying to stay on track. I had, my dad came to visit, and there's the older farmhouse in the front of the property, and he can't hear very well. He was a Vietnam vet, so he kind of has like some hearing loss. But we opened up that farmhouse door, and you could hear audibly a woman's voice, like, "Come in." And I was like, "Oh God!" And I thought I'll just ignore this and like pretend like nothing happened. And my dad goes, "Did you hear a woman's voice?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I tell a friend of mine who likes to do a paranormal and another friend of mine that likes to do paranormal investigation, and both people came out. My one girlfriend, her and I ended up spending more time like around the creepy forest because we were more like kind of wanting to see what that was all about. And that adventure led to her and I walking out to that area, and she had EMF. I don't know paranormal stuff at all, so I'm just gonna whatever blah blah meter and all of these gadgetry. And so we're walking out there, and I've got a bunch of cows in that field, and the cows were gathered around us and just watching what we were doing when we were in the side by side. Well, she was changing batteries, and she kept changing batteries, and batteries kept dying before we'd even get out of the side by side.
Oh, wow.
So then we go and we walk over to the edge of like the start of this forest, and there's a drop off and then the fence ledge, and probably like between the drop off and the fence is about maybe 8 feet or so. Well, all the cows, sorry, they, I mean, since I feed them, they're normally like stuck to me and kind of seeing what I'm up to. Well, they go walk ahead of us and they line up, 4 of them, like 1, 2, 3, 4, spaced out evenly, looking straight into that creepy forest, and will not let us go any further. They completely block us. They will not move. We try to go around them. Another cow would block us, but those 4 stood there. I mean, you could have I think measured. It was a perfect alignment, and they just looked straight ahead. And she said, "Is this normal cow behavior?" And I'm like, "No, this is like weird, like this cow like jazz line or something." I mean, like cows don't line up like that. It's like super strange. So that was kind of our first adventure with that. And then the reason I called the other friend was out that same field that has a creepy forest in it. I was feeding the cows one night and I looked up and there was a little girl like in a white dress, and she looked kind of bluish color, like not totally white, but she looked kind of blue. And she was standing at the top of the hill. And I actually got it. I thought, what is this small child doing in this field? But it looked she looked kind of glowy. So I thought, well, this is kind of creeping me out. So, but I thought I'll just run up there and see. And by the time I got up there, the thing was gone. And then I walked back down and then she pops up again. And I'm like, what in the world? So I don't really know what's going on. And then, okay, so the friend that came out, he did say, I want you to know there's some kind of synchronicity going on. And if you know you're on the right path, you'll probably find a star-shaped blue balloon in your field, and it just means you're on the right path. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? So it was right before he showed up to come do this. I'm walking around, I see this blue thing blowing across in the high fence in with a white tail, and I go out there and it's a star-shaped balloon. Wow. I'm like, what? So wow. I don't even at this point I'm like I don't even know, like I'll just say I don't know what's going on. I'm just here trying to
you and Brian can never meet like this.
I was gonna say, yeah, we would.
Brian never like shake your hand, like this portal would open and all these. So,
here's a weird thing
would come out or something.
Shane doesn't even know this. I don't think Shane knows the story, but and I wasn't sure I was going to share this or not. But when you talked about that black helicopter, this is going to sound super weird and like conspiracy type, and I'm not a conspiracy nut at all. Don't think that. I don't drink the Kool-Aid, right? But in 2000, I'd have been 2001, 2002. I was leaving my house, getting on the highway, and it was middle of the night. I was probably about the only one on the road, probably going to go do something I shouldn't be doing. I don't remember. And I saw this light shine down, and I kind of slowed down. I rolled down the window. I looked up, and there was a black helicopter above me following me. No sound.
Wow.
No. I never knew what that was.
Wow.
But I could see the blades rotating.
Wow.
I could see the tires on it, the landing gear. I could see like a guy up there, like on the side of it, like standing there.
Crazy.
And it was right above me. Like you said, I probably could have hit it with a rock.
Wow.
But the weirdest thing, there was absolutely no sound.
Wow.
Now, at that point, I was close to an Air Force base, Tinker Air Force Base, which is known to keep all the AWAC planes. We also keep a bunch of stealth bombers.
Gotcha.
So I always kind of put it to that, like maybe it's some kind of new helicopter that they're working on or something like that. But they were following me. Yeah, they were following me in the middle of the night. And I don't know if they were just doing it to see if I could see them or something. Like maybe like, hey, here's probably some drunk young fool driving down the road or something. Let's see what he's doing, But when that light came down, it kind of startled me. I was like, where's that light? And I looked up and I could see it, and it was just following me. And I got on the interstate, and then it veered off, and I just went on and did my thing. So it was weird that you said that. And
that is weird.
Came back in my head, and I was like, I was like, man,
that is weird.
I saw a ghost before. So
there's a lot
I
of
hang
high
out with Brian.
strangeness.
That's why I hang out with Brian.
I know. So,
I don't blame you not one bit.
just hang out with me a little bit. You're gonna see.
I like high strangeness.
Well,
oh yeah.
I just kind of I guess I know nothing about why any of this is happening or what, and my husband cracks me up because he'll be like, "What are you, some kind of witch, or why are all these things drawn to you? What is going on?" And I'm like, I'm doing nothing, and it's kind of like the only thing I can equate it
somebody
to.
called me a warlock one time. I was like, what is that? I don't know what a warlock is.
Gosh.
Yeah, like a couple.
Y'all do have a lot in common.
He was like, "Are you an alien?" And I'm like, "I can't confirm or deny that because I really don't know. How would I even know if I was an alien?" I mean, it was just like.
It is interesting to me, though. I think that it is interesting how, though, all right, like some people search their whole entire life to have a Sasquatch encounter, to see one with their own two eyes, and they never, ever see one. And then there are those people who have multiple encounters and see them, and they seem to have an imprint on these people.
And that's
somehow.
what Elise and I
really believe
talking
that.
about that. And
we have talked about it.
I'm ready to be imprinted.
I think it goes back to what Shane and I talked about before when you're talking about looking for tracks, and we may segue into this, but your brain will only see what it knows, right? Mm-hmm. And so Shane and I talked about this, how we have walked in the woods and have certain guys overstep tracks and tracks, and then I walk by and I say, "Oh, there's a track there." So my theory, and this is just my theory, and I don't know, I'm just a dumb old dude from Oklahoma, I don't know much, but I think that your brain, if your brain knows something, it'll see something. And I think that's true with paranormal, with the spirit world, and also with Bigfoot, and also things like that. And so, and I had a guy tell me one time, he told me before when we first got into Bigfoot, he told me, he said, "You're the type of guy who's going to see Bigfoot." He told me that.
Is that because he thinks that because you're open to it, Brian?
I think he thinks because I'm so in tune with things that aren't normal.
It's because Brian's a warlock.
And so, like, what'd you say?
He says you're a warlock. I don't believe that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got a pot brewing behind me. I've got a cauldron going. I'm boiling cauldron. So, yeah.
But I think Britta has some theories about blood types and bloodlines and stuff like that too, and I find that very interesting. You know,
that's kind of something. I think there's a lot of, energy or that people exude, and it's sort of like, I mean, this is a crude example, but I'll just start with this. So, my husband would say to me, "Will you stop bringing home all these cats?" And I'm like, it didn't matter where we're living. I'm like, "I'm not bringing home any cats. I did not bring home a cat. I brought no cats home. Where are all these dogs and cats coming from?" I'm like, "I don't know. They just find me and show up." And he's like, "You're so full of crap." Like, he did not believe me. But I'm like, wherever we go, these like things like, and so maybe on a larger scale, a Sasquatch shows up.
Yeah. Like, I don't know where all the dogs and cats are. Yeah.
You never know.
I don't know.
Does
your house ever get messed with, like slapped?
My house just got messed with while we were talking.
It's just now starting.
Yeah, it just my garage just got knocked on, and my dog's right here, and he's going all like, I don't know if you guys can see him, but he's getting all crazy, like he wants to go see what's going on. But something just smacked, and I did get that. I put up a bunch of cameras, and
all right,
that got recorded yesterday, a smack, and then another video of a growl and steps that sounded like Quasimodo, kind of like somebody wearing one swim fin, just kind of walking, kind of. But that happened yesterday morning, and I brightened up the video, and I saw my husband go one way, but I think something else went the other direction. So,
and what does your husband think about all this type of stuff?
That I need to go to a mental hospital. No. He actually So the only thing he's really heard is a couple things he couldn't explain, and one was he was when we were at our property in Alabama, he was turkey hunting, and he heard what he described as something taking another tree and hitting another tree with it, and just like, and he did not know anything about what a wood knock is. He never heard anything. I mean, zero. This is a person with zero information regarding any of this stuff, and he got scared and came out of there. And then the other thing that was happening to him was every time he would go in one pond to go kayak, and it didn't matter what time of day it was, he would hear like a man-sized owl hoot to him. And then he was hooting back at it. And I have a video of him hooting back with that thing, and they kind of go back and forth for a little bit. And it is no way that it is a regular owl. I mean, unless that owl's, because it sounds bigger than him. And so it's like, what is that, a 7-foot owl then? So I don't know.
My God, I hope so. That would be crazy. I'll look for that next.
That would like we did he and I did see we had the thermal, and we had another thermal scope hooked to this sounds horrible, an AR, and we were pegging off some beavers at night. So we were looking across this pond, and I had the main thermal without a gun attached to it, and I passed it to him, and we kind of kept passing it back and forth, because that property also is very secluded. And he goes, I'm not raising the gun to look through this thermal because that looks like it could be a man. And I'm like, what size of man would that be? I mean, it was huge. So that's probably, I don't know. And then my boys and I have gone out and looked around at that Alabama property too. And my husband's great uncle, who was like a woodsman guy, would say, I don't go down there late at night by myself because of this thing he called Old Snort. So I don't know what the heck Old Snort was. And also in that area right off that property was an island, and I think it's underwater now, but they called it Wild Man Island. And so that kind of is indicative to, I don't know, maybe Sasquatch or something. Yeah. And that's really close to, I don't know if you guys know anything about, that is like, as the crow flies, probably maybe a little longer than that. I'd have to look. 2 miles from Moundville, which is Moundville, Alabama, which is probably the oldest human inhabitants in the country. And there's all like pyramid-y things there. Interesting. And I went and visited there one day and got a whoop from the woods yelled at me. And I was like, okay. So I kind of feel like if there's a way for them to follow people around the country, I think they're following me. I don't know.
Truth is stranger than fiction. It happens. You're not the first one to have these encounters like this and to say this. It happens. I don't know why. I have a lot of theories, but
I guess I started to think about why, but I mean, you could go down a giant rabbit hole of
rabbit hole. Yeah.
I know after I saw what I physically saw something in front of me, I didn't talk about it for like 3 months. I didn't tell my husband what had happened. I just kind of had like this weird existential crisis of feeling like really, really small, like smaller than normal, like ant small, and then I just like broke down and cried one night because I got mad too, because I felt like, why don't people know the truth about what's really out there? And then I'm like, what's the malfunction, and why would our government not tell us, what's happening? Yes. And and then I got in touch with a guy that's was in a level highly classified person. Yeah. And he said to me, yes, these are real. Don't worry about it. And and kind of
Don't
gave me
worry
some
about it.
information.
Yeah, they're
I
all
mean,
right.
don't worry about like it
Yeah,
from
they
a
will.
like
Yeah, right.
that you're not crazy. You're not crazy.
Right.
Worry about
Right.
it.
Oh, I
But
got you.
outside of
Yeah.
that, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, so there was some
It's
confirmation
wild.
of
And it
that.
does, that makes me so angry.
Me
That,
too.
well, the government makes me very angry about a lot of things. But anyway, the one thing about this is like they should let people know. You know, people deserve to know this. If these things are out there, so people don't think they're crazy when they encounter one, since they don't mind, since they could talk about it if they encountered one without the fear of sounding stupid or being ridiculed. And that is just makes me so angry that they don't admit to it, that they know they're there. They know they are.
My theory on
Yeah.
that makes me sound like a conspiracy theorist, and I just said I
Well,
wasn't.
let's hear it. Let's hear it because I like that.
Do it, Brian. Do it. Do it.
Do it.
So here's my thought on it. So the one thing that keeps everything in check on this planet is what?
Water.
God?
Religion.
What God? Yeah.
Yeah.
Religion, right? So if we start exposing things that don't fit that book, whether it be Sasquatch is maybe the missing link, aliens
Right.
from other planets and things like that. Once that stuff is out, you lose
Yeah.
a lot of
Right.
basics to religion,
You're
right?
right.
And
That's
religion
right.
Well,
keeps
you lose.
people walking a
Yeah.
right
You're right.
line, you know,
You're
because
right.
if we
Yeah.
don't think
You
we're going to get to heaven, what's the purpose of
Mhm.
doing the right thing here?
right.
You're
You
right.
lose. I think
Yeah.
you lose a moral compass and
Yeah.
accountability is what you lose
So,
by doing that.
Absolutely.
so that's
And then you have
Absolutely.
mass chaos.
Absolutely.
yeah, because if you thought, well, I'm just, you know, here's the missing link, there is no
I
God, and
really never thought about it like that,
YOLO.
Brian. But
yeah,
that's
like
really
no
good.
rules, there's no consequences to
But
be
dude,
paid.
the
I'm just gonna go
Bible's
out,
like the
shoot
most
everybody and steal
super.
everything I want to steal, you know.
It's like
So,
the most supernatural book out there.
yeah,
It
yeah,
really is if
exactly.
you read it. You
and I
know.
say this as a Christian man, like I believe in God and I believe in all that stuff, you know. But I still
Me
think that
too.
there's a lot more to it, right? And
Yeah.
I do. I believe that too.
yeah, and but
Yeah.
I think
I think
if you
there's a lot
came
of
out,
missing.
Mhm.
Like if
Yes.
you know how like if you're if I don't know, I did this with one of my kids when they want to read a book and it was kind of like page through it like a romance novel, rip out that page. I kind of feel like there was some pages the kids
sure,
weren't given, you know.
lost in
Yeah.
translation, even.
Like the Book of Enoch, for one.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, I
That's
think
just
that's
my
an
crazy
important
theory.
book that was left out.
Well, Britta, I
Yeah.
think that your property is. I mean, I hadn't been there, but just from a property that we visited in Chickasha, it's 500 acres, and these people have multiple, you know, tributaries, ponds, deer. I
Mhm.
mean, and they've had years and years of experiences. I could totally see, you know, that happening on your property, and you've got like all these classic signs too, like with the horse braiding and
She really does. It's classic.
Yeah.
the creepy one. I think that you shared was your name being called. I think that's
Yeah,
just
Yeah,
holy
that really
smokes.
bothered me because
Yeah.
I mean the only thing in the area at that time was the Mustang and two donkeys, and I'm like,
Yeah, they don't say your name, right?
unless
Yeah.
a donkey like the donkey in the Bible decided to yell my name, I mean like
and you know, until you have that happen to you, it's hard to explain, right?
Yeah,
Because I've had that,
yeah
and it is it's alarming, you know, especially if you're the only one there and somebody says
you're
your name.
like
I had it happen to me from behind, and I just kind of like looked and was like, but I kind of knew who mine was, so it was a little bit more comforting, you know.
Really.
oh
Yeah, I would think so if you knew it too. I
Yeah,
would think
the
so.
voice once
It'd be more
the initial
comfortable.
shock of it, you know, got me, but then I was just like, okay, I know who that is. So,
Yeah.
do you ever look for tracks or anything of that nature, or, with
so
having ponds?
here actually
I'll be right back,
oh,
guys. You guys go ahead.
with
What?
regarding the
What?
tracks like I've seen I was looking for tracks at the land in Alabama a lot because there was a lot of we didn't have all the livestock, but here it's not as easy really because we have people driving on the different paths and this is hunting season, so my boys have been back hunting and there, so No, but I did find a bunch of tracks, and I have photos of the tracks from Alabama. And but here I wouldn't be surprised. There's just it was easy to find them in Alabama because of the clay there, and the ground was really, really conducive to making good tracks. Here there's more sandy soil and a lot of grass everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's not as easy, but and even we were out, Elise and the gang, we were all out looking for tracks, and
we did.
That was still kind of the thing that was happening. Was sandier soil, lots of grass,
lots of grass, lots of free fall. It's hard to see it. The only place that you would get good tracks would be down around the ponds, but I mean, your ponds where you could get to it is like a bridge, you cross it. So they're not going to hardly say, well, let me leave a good enough print for them to see from the bridge. They're smarter than that. They're smarter than that.
At first I didn't really think that, like they would think about things like that until I saw some tracks that came off of this little bridge. It took a couple of steps and then it went up on the bank where it's really hard and rocky. And then when it crossed the creek, you saw the tracks. Now, why didn't it just go down the bank where it was already walking and then turn right and go over the creek? Why did it do this? And then, I don't know. It just, to me, it just made me feel different about what we were looking for, I guess.
I think when I first started in this community, this thing, the woo was a bad word. Nobody's.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, the woo. Oh, the woo. The woo of it all. They thought it was a bad. But I'm telling you, the longer I stay here, the crazier stuff gets, and the more questions I have. And I'm not thinking the woo is such a bad word anymore. Not saying I'm 100%
no,
in, but
I totally agree.
There is some high strangeness that goes along with this creature. There is some very high strangeness.
I think so. I think so too, because can I swear on your show?
Oh yeah, it's close enough 8 o'clock. Go ahead.
Shane and Brian do it all the time.
Okay, I want to show you guys this. Y'all can continue to talk. I just want to show you a picture. I got permission.
I'll just say what I think. What I've kind of dubbed it is. There's Sasquatch, but then there's some kind of alien fuckery with it.
Okay.
Fuckery.
A lot of people believe that now.
That's a great word.
It just seems like
very strange.
It's this one.
Britta doesn't look like the type of girl that would say fuckery either.
Critter.
It threw me off. It really did. Yeah.
My favorite word, by the way, Britta.
I left for like 30 seconds, came back, and I don't know what you guys are talking about. So.
Ever since Amy Winehouse, I love that word.
Yeah, Amy Winehouse, all the way.
Yes.
But it just seems like, and it seems like there's some element that is not, it makes it even stranger, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to share.
And I'm like in kindergarten with all this stuff. So, which
I think we stay like that. I think we stay in kindergarten with it. Yeah. Oh, wow.
So
where's that at?
I don't know exactly. I know it's up north. I've talked to this person.
What the heck is that?
What is that thing behind it?
Just hang on a second.
What is that?
First of all,
it looks like a Wolfman guy.
Okay, see, and when I was sent this, and this picture is it's very pixelated, as you can see. I mean, I can zoom in on the structure and
I got you.
Can see the squares. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So I'm looking at this thing, and
but there's a dog,
right? You got a dog here for reference.
But that face.
Here's the funny thing. I didn't notice anything but the structure. I'm so involved.
Really?
Are those cut with an axe? Or are those? I'm all in.
Yeah, are they?
Things like, well, what about this?
Yeah. I mean, I'm working.
Can you see?
This looks sharp, or that could be torn.
Yeah.
That does look sharp.
I don't know, but you know what? If you put this picture like on your Facebook group, people are gonna hacksaw it to hell.
You can't put nothing on there.
The clarity first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then,
you can't put nothing.
Go ahead and slide over there to it.
And then the person that sent me this is, but did you see that on the right? And I was like, let me take a look. And then I look at this. I'm like, well, What the hell is that?
That looks
What
like
the
that
hell
looks like a
is that?
dog man
What
guy.
is this?
What is
You know?
that?
Is that a shoulder?
Oh
Is that
my
I
gosh.
don't know what's going on.
That looks
know?
like so Nordic mythology creature guy.
Okay, well at first I thought it was something like this because
Oh, gotcha.
I dabble a lot in
Oh,
I was a
wow.
graphic designer, so can y'all see
Yes.
this window? Can y'all see this
No,
window?
I can only
No,
see
okay.
the
Okay,
TV.
hang on a second. So, hang on. Let me bring this up because I saw it today because I wanted to debunk it and say, wait a second, this could be this, right? So you guys have seen.
Oh.
Hang on. Y'all have seen this before. Hold up 1 second. Let me stop that one. We got to get a.
I showed it to a guy today, a kid earlier today, and he said,
"You did
the ghost of Bigfoot."
I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, I was like,
all right. Interesting.
So
he's
like,
not a Bigfoot guy, so
at first I'm like, okay,
yeah,
well,
that's what it looks like. Totally,
right? Like it kind of looks like this.
Oh yeah,
if you
got you.
Turned it the other way.
I've got him in my yard.
But if you turn it the other way, he's facing that way.
Right.
He looks more like he had a snout, though. The other guy.
Right, and so I was thinking, if this is superimposed, like they photoshopped it and they adjusted the opacity and they kind of erased some stuff and made it look kind of like it's kind of blendy. But after staring at it for a while, I was like, I don't think that's what that is.
No.
And I've talked to the person, and the person is heavy into Bigfoot. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to try to get the original picture because I want to look at the metadata of this picture and see if there are any kind of. I don't think there are.
So you know the person who took that picture, Shane?
I mean, we're not like best friends, but like
right. You trust him enough with it to.
Yeah, we chat a lot about the subject matter, right?
Wow, that makes it even better. Let's see it again.
It's a weird photo.
It's just very strange, and
it is so weird.
And I wish it was clearer because you could really. I mean, we know that's a dog because we've seen that. I don't know how many times.
Yeah, and that dog looks like it's an Airedale. Like it looks like you can
There
tell.
you go. That's
Airedale.
Yeah, you're right.
So if you zoom out, I mean, you can see the dog better, because the pixels come in and but that right there, and
I don't know.
They told me they didn't see this at the time of the picture at all.
Wow, they didn't see it
at all.
Well, I would be interested in them going back out and taking another picture and seeing if they can recreate that. I wonder.
I know right now that it's pummeled in snow, so this is further up.
Can't do it right now, then that's for sure.
But this person, this is I wouldn't say a neighbor, but the closest person that lives to them, maybe property. So,
wow.
Shane, do you think you could take that photo and Photoshop that figurine, scale it out the size, and then move it face to face to see if they mirror each other?
Yeah, I can do that. Damn it, Brian's making me work. Brian's making me work now.
I'm just the brains here, buddy. That's all. You're the good looks on the brains.
Oh, man, that's what I'm talking about.
Dynamic duo. Batman and Superman, because there is no.
I love it. I love it.
Wonder in this group right here.
There is no boy wonder.
There's no boy wonder.
Him could be Batman. Where's he at? So.
Hang on, I gotta find a better picture of it because that one was protected and they wasn't gonna let me drag and drop nothing.
Yeah. I'm just curious,
No, that's a good,
Because I just want to see if the angles match.
I have not seen that picture. That's really interesting.
No, this is I mean, they just sent it to me today.
Gotcha.
So it's like
super interesting.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. Hang on, I gotta open up Photoshop.
I would expect nothing less from you guys. Y'all are like that, on the minute people like that.
We try to, we try to be
sufficiently impressed over here.
But why Photoshop is opening, I want you to talk about this track.
Yeah.
That you sent
Old Splato.
Yeah, Old Splato. I'm gonna bring up the one that and I like this track pic you have because it looks like it walked one way and then another.
It did.
Like it stayed in the same.
It did.
Of area.
It did. It did.
Here we go. So this is our track on the left. This is a 16-inch track, and this is what you sent me. And you have so you got this one going this way,
right?
This one going that way.
Yeah.
And
it was stepping all over the place. It was on a bank. Gosh,
I'm not gonna lie. When you sent me this, I got the willies.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I couldn't wait.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
I came out.
Yeah.
I came out of the woods early to send it to y'all guys where I could get in touch and talk to you about it, because I knew, I said I'm gonna send it to Shane and Brian, because I know they've had lots of experience with footprints and stuff. And you always tell us, Barb said, Shane always says, cast it. If it has toes, cast it, because you never know what it's gonna come out to be,
Yeah.
So we walked around that and looked at that, and we all was just like, we really didn't. We just kind of walked around. It was looking, and everybody took their turn looking, and we're like, I don't know. Well, and then we tried to. Can we do that? Can we make our toes do that? You can't. And it was so deep in the mud, but it was mud, but it was so very deep, and it had just walked all over this little place right there. It had just walked all over this little tiny bank right there, back and forth, and, just walking around. Don't know what it was doing, but when we cast it, when it came out, we were like, oh, wow, okay, this looks better, So we were really excited about it. I can't really remember, but I remember which one that was. We've been going out as much as possible, but during the summer and the hot August, September, we stay home. But I think that was not too long ago, really, recently.
I like how similar it is to ours.
I know, right? I love that.
And we're not anywhere close to each other.
I know it. I know. I like that too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean, look at that thing. Its big toe was so gigantic. That's what we started looking at.
That's another thing too. Is just,
my God, that toe was enormous.
Sorry. There we go. That big toe display. If you can look up splayed big toes, you can Google it right now. And see that that's not a very normal thing for a human at all.
Yeah.
It's actually a problem.
And all of them. I mean, it was splay toed. It was, and it's. I think it's both feet. There it is.
I love it. I think you guys did a great job. I think it's awesome.
Fantastic. What's the link?
We were excited. I can't remember the size on it. I couldn't tell you. I really can't remember what the size was on it. Let me see if I got it wrote down in my notes so I don't forget anything.
And look how, Brian, how close the little toes are.
I know.
Sleeves, just like ours, dude.
And it's got that little bitty pinky toe.
Yes. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
The pinky toe on this one's actually about right here.
Right there, I see it.
It barely touched the sand. Barely.
It was just the toes, and that big toe was enormous. It was just the way they were. Once we cast it and got to looking at it, we were so excited. Like I said, I came out of the woods early so I could send it and chat with all about it, because we were excited once we cast it. That was Christine that cast that. She was dying to do her first cast, and she finally got to cast it.
I love this. I love these casts. I love them.
Well, we're excited about it.
Y'all are the first people to cast something other than what we've cast with that splayed toe, which we've gotten crap over it here and there.
Yeah, we did. We got a lot of crap over it.
Ours is from Oklahoma, and yours is what, Texas, right? Was this Texas? Louisiana?
That was Louisiana, maybe. I'm not really. I can't remember what it was.
That's even better.
I was thinking.
I'm not sure. Maybe Texas. We've went as far as Arkansas, Oklahoma, and I think this weekend we're going out to a little spot that the girls went to last weekend for New Year's Eve, and they caught some good audio. So
you guys are on fire.
So we're going back. I don't know what it is. I think. Is it beginner's luck? I mean, we've been doing this for a little over a year now, but I'm telling you,
ladies get way better luck than guys do.
I think it's because we're all ladies. Maybe has something to do with it. Maybe we're not.
You ever spoken with Debbie Jones and the Sisters of?
Oh yeah, yes. Yeah. Debbie just joined our group, as a matter of fact.
Did she really? That's awesome.
Yeah, we're excited to have her.
Whoops, sorry.
generally more observant.
Actually, I'm going
right?
to turn this off for a second.
No.
Hang on. I'm going to share Photoshop real quick, just real quick, because I already got them ready.
Moment of truth.
Well, I mean, because it does kind of look like that, Brian, but there's other things that,
Okay.
But it does kind of look like that.
Okay.
So let me,
it does.
Let's zoom in.
I see.
Can you?
See what I'm saying? But
you can't rotate that image though, right?
Rotate this?
Yeah, like,
Man,
like,
you kidding me, man.
like not this way, but like
You want me
this
to
Right.
flip them, right?
oh,
It has
like
to be
this.
it has to be 3D for you to rotate him, right?
Like
Yeah.
this? Because see this.
Oh well, yeah, that's cool right there too.
Oh, that looks
It's
more
just
like it.
I'm gonna
Oh,
It kind of does. It kind of does.
Can
it
you?
kind of does a lot.
Can you make him opaque? Oh, there you go. Ding, ding, ding.
But see, this arm kind of goes straight. Now I don't know if that's where that shoulder is. If this was it, then the head would be up here. They would have to.
The head looks like it's turned a little bit.
It does just a little bit.
The statue looks like he's looking more down, whereas the
You know what I mean? You could do.
Oh, you can turn the head. Oh,
I could do
forget
it.
about it. Yeah. Okay. See, I don't know Photoshop.
I don't know though, dude.
I'm horrible at this.
And then let's see. I don't know. I mean, I could mess with this and probably make it almost look exactly like this. But the problem I have with it is geez, just calm down. Look at Photoshop. It's blacking out.
I mean, how much trouble would you have to go through to make it? I mean, to do that though. I mean, is it
not
worth
much?
it?
Not much trouble. But the person is very. I've chatted with this person, so it's not. I think.
Yeah, I understand.
I still think there's something to this.
Yeah,
I do too.
And also, that statue
that is
made
just
to look like a Bigfoot.
Yeah, that is a very, very interesting picture right there.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's incredible.
It looks like a crabby old guy, troll.
Yeah, like a troll guy.
Yeah, it does.
Hey, what did you say they called that island? Or not the island. What did you say that guy called? Snickerty Whiskers. I don't know what Britta said it earlier.
Oh, I know what. Yeah.
You said the guy goes. Is it somebody's grandpa that goes down to the pond?
Oh, Snort Face. Oh, Snort Face.
Snort Face.
Snort.
Oh, Snort Face.
I like Snickerty Whiskers better.
Snickerty Whiskers.
I like Snickery Whiskers too. I may name my cat that.
That would be his name. Would be that for sure. I mean,
yeah. He's like, hey, I'm Snickerty Whiskers.
Look
at my dog. My dog's right there.
That is very interesting. That's all I can say about it. I mean, I think
clothes. He's like, I don't know, and he's kind of.
It's wild.
Looks mad.
Like I would have to have the original picture with its full resolution to really, make a judgment call on this instead of just.
Is there anything else in there?
Is there anything else? I don't think so. But according to
did she say how big? Did they say how big that teepee is? How tall is it? Do they know?
Okay. Well, that's another great question. Like how big is?
Because I'm wondering how big that thing is.
That dog's probably what, 2 foot tall?
Yeah.
Airedale's aren't super huge.
Yeah.
Now let's do some thinker thunker stuff.
Well, I was gonna say
2,
like
4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
Yeah.
A lot of people would put this online and then start doing this, like there's one there and look, there's a
there
dog
you go.
there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
That guy and,
you missed the one on the ground. There's one on the ground.
Right there.
Right there. That's it.
Hey, you know what? I'm doing something new in 2023. I'm using squares.
You're gonna use squares. There you go. New Year's resolution.
I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna stop
Hey,
before I get a bunch of haters.
I love it. Think outside the box.
Think outside the circle.
Please, somebody think outside the circle.
Holy smokes! No, but again, I'm gonna look for for more People send me pictures all the time. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love pictures and video. Bring it.
Well, when I get an interesting one, I know where I send it. I send it to you because I want to get your opinion on it. And then I told Barb, I said, poor Shane and Brian, I said, they didn't know they became our mentors. They didn't ask for that job, but they got it.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what we can do to help you as far as mentors, but we can definitely look at things with you.
I'll send you guys some pictures. I've got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, Britta, because
you've
got pictures and video and such. Like
I have audio. I have
and that's what I was going to say, Britta. And send them your audio too, girl.
Yeah, I will.
And we're going to invite you guys to come and see what we got going down here in Louisiana. The next little thing we plan out, and we can plan it with you guys.
All right, I'll head out in the morning.
So, or maybe we'll meet up in Texas or something like that.
That sounds good.
Well, we'd enjoy having y'all. We enjoy sitting around the campfire with you guys.
That'd be a blast.
Oh, definitely. And we'd bring some tracks and stuff. And I'd want to see, we could look at each other's tracks and stuff. I love doing that.
I love it. I just love it. So much fun.
They're so cool to see.
And I guess we'll be going to Britta's property in Alabama in the springtime, I think.
Yeah, that was our plan to go there in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and one of my sons was just there. I think it was like right before Christmas. I think he went on the 23rd, and he was with a friend, and they were hunting, and they both got freaked out. And the friend had never been there before, is an avid hunter, and that kid was like, "What was that?" And because they heard the 800-pound owl.
Owl. Yeah.
Owl. It's the worst owl. I mean, if you heard the owl, I mean, the impersonation in his nightly act is horrible. Like who on the owl imitation? Hey,
he is not a good imitator.
Yeah, but it's blatantly not an owl.
Not an owl.
Yeah.
Well, what we heard that night on the property in Texas was not an owl either. That was for sure. I don't know what that was, unless it was a dinosaur of some sort.
Well,
I've heard East Texas called Jurassic Park before.
Yeah, that was going on. And last night when Elise had texted me and she's like, "Oh, you need to put out a audio recorder." And I was like, I thought I left everything like at home or in Alabama. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I think I have one in the laundry room of all places. So I went in there and I found one, charged it up and stuck it out there. And I'm just recharging it now. But that one actually has some really creepy footage or audio footage from Alabama. And last night, right when I walked out the front door, it was a complete eruption of what I would say was a giant coyote trying to train and keep under control a bunch of small coyotes. But the giant coyote sound wasn't a coyote. I don't know what that was. And my dog walked out there with me and he just stood there and he froze. And I had to like pick him up and move him to get him to go back into the house. Cause he just was
wow. Oh, that's crazy.
I don't know what that was. So he calmed down, but he was freaking out while we were talking because of the hitting of the garage again. And the garage is probably like 200 yards from the house. So
okay. Oh, well, that's a great place to do something.
Run over there and whack the side of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand that though. They just now started this slapping the house or the garage, and that. I'm like, it's kind of like if Britta did something different. If she was gifting them and then stopped gifting them, but we know she hasn't been doing that.
Well, like at least you were asking me if I had changed anything. The only thing I did do was I moved the Mustang and I moved the 2 donkeys into the high fence.
Oh.
And I put a bull over where the donkey and donkeys and the Mustang were. So maybe they can't get to their girlfriend Mustang girl.
Oh, wow.
Fix their hair like they like to do it.
Valentine's Day just around the corner, man.
That's interesting, Britta. That's interesting.
So maybe they're mad about that.
Cosmetology license and he messed them all up. gonna start his own salon out there, and you got
just messed up
for that, dude.
You just messed up their practice.
I know. He's like, now
I'm gonna get my certificate and some lovin's at the same time. Okay.
Yeah, they might not like that bull that's out there right now because he likes to chase things. So maybe they've tried.
That bull is enormous. I would die if it got behind me.
Well,
enormous.
So you guys are gonna be headed out to Britta's again sometime soon. Britta, keep us posted on what's going on. Because we kind of been on here for a little over an hour, so we'd like to have you back on, like continue this.
Yeah, especially after y'all's next little trip.
Both you guys. So
thank you guys.
Keep tabs on what's going on and audio and anything you want to send me. I'm more than happy to look and listen.
And watch out for those helicopters.
Yeah.
Watch out for the helicopters.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, the last time they flew over, they buzzed my house, and I was out here, and I gave them the super birdie. So I was like, I don't know what.
She flew her own bird that day.
You just need to mow fuckery in your front yard. So when they fly
total.
Over, put a helicopter, put a little helicopter over too.
Just point that AR at them, see if you get their attention. So.
Oh yeah. Let's not do that.
Right?
I'll do it. Talk to Britta ever again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at it.
No.
All right.
Hey, you guys.
All right, guys.
Thank you for coming on.
Great talking to y'all. I enjoyed it so much. And Britta, I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Yeah,
Good night, Cookaholics everywhere.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
What do you think, Brian? Good show, man.
Yep.
Look, it's still on. We're in the dark. We are now in her closet. Oh.
There we go. Yeah. I was gonna say, she turned the light off and she's gone.
That's great. All right, man. So I'm going to end broadcast. I thought that was a good show. That was cool.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Oh
yeah, go ahead and hit in. We're still sitting there talking live. Thanks for everybody tuning in.
All right, bye, everybody.
Listening to us.
Yeah. Listen.